So we are back with another Acceptable Casualties Battle Report. Today we're here with Judge Dredd, the Constellation Z campaign. This is episode 3. Back in a second to kind of go over the gangs and what the mission's going to be. So we'll be back in a flash. All right, so we are back here, and this is going to be the Street Rats coming out for this mission. We got a couple new minions because they just can't seem to stay alive. So we're going to go from left to right down here and work our way down. So first up, our new minion over here is Tootsie Poop. Then we have Mr. Bigglesworth. And then coming out, we have Mongo. He's one of the originals, so he's hasn't got a lot of face time though. And then over here, we had 2 heroes in on this one. We ended up bringing out Samson, and we also have Rabbit, who was in the first episode. So this is going to be the 5 guys that we have coming in. There's going to be no reserves or anything like that coming in and help these guys out. It's pretty much what you see is what you get at this point. So we'll be back in a second to go over the Justice Department. So here we have the Justice Department characters I'm going to be bringing out for the mission today. So once again, Judge Vinchenzo leading the way for the drug task force over here. With him again is going to be rookie Judge Abbott over there. And coming out today, they are bringing Judge Mako with them, who is armed with a shotgun, or also known as a scattergun in the game. And he is a level 3 judge, I think. So he's pretty beastie. So we'll be back in a second to kind of go over the mission and see how this is all going to play out. Okay, so we are here for the deployment and kind of the mission breakdown. So for this mission, over here at the Dolphin Shack, you have Rabbit, and he's doing what he does, slinging his street dope. So over here, he has one of his lookouts. It's going to be Tootsie Poop. And then the rest of the gang is kind of hidden in one of these buildings over here. Vin doesn't know who it is. And they're just kind of hanging out right now, playing cards, waiting for the day to be done so they can go home. For Vin, he has his force set up for almost like a sting operation. They're going to try to go in and arrest Rabbit. So down here, Vin was able to deploy Judge Mako 5 inches in from that table edge over there. So he's kind of hidden behind this building over here. Coming in up over there between the 2 buildings, you have Judge Vinchenzo walking in, probably going to try to make the arrest. And Vin was allowed to have one of his officers in the building. So he took the rookie Judge Abbott is over here on the 2nd floor, kind of perched up, looking down over the whole open courtyard. So the mission for this is going to be, Vin's going to have to go in there and they have to arrest Rabbit so they can interrogate him and kind of find out where the cookhouse is, where they're making all the Constellation Z, so they can go in and do a drug raid. So if they're able to capture Rabbit, they can get the interrogation, and then they'll be able to get their mission set up for the next game. But if Rabbit's able to escape and get off the opposite table edge, which is going to be over there, if he ends up running away, then it'll be the last mission coming up for the Street Rats, and it'll be something for them to kind of win the campaign. So this is a pretty pivotal game that we got set up right here. So we'll be back in a second for the end of turn 1 and kind of see how things start off. So we are back for the end of turn 1, and it's already started getting hectic here. So we'll start down here. Vin ended up going first. He took Judge Mako from that corner, decided to walk into this building, and this was the building that I had the guys hanging out in. So we had Vin move in. We ended up rolling an agility roll-off, and Vin ended up beating everybody, so he got to go first. And with his leftover action, we let Vin do an arrest check, and then I gave him an extra action as well because of the situation at hand. So Mako busted in the door. As you can see, Mongo is on the floor, bleeding profusely out of his chest cavity. Vin used this shotgun, just blew a hole in him, and then this is like power shot, I think is the rule. He ended up blowing him back 3 inches, so he bounced off that back wall and then fell face first onto the floor. Up over here, Judge Vinchenzo moved up. He was able to get a line of sight through the bar right there, and he fired... he tried to arrest Tootsie Poop, and I ended up tying him on the will check. So he's still in the fight over there. And then up over here, Abbott ended up just hanging out at the window, trying to position herself to get a little bit more cover shooting out that window. So that's what happened for the judges. For me, I fired 2 shots with Tootsie Poop over at the Chens. I think both my shots hit, but you made both your armor saves. Yeah. So that went pretty good for Vin. Rabbit, after hearing all the gunshots and seeing cops coming out of every single corner of the table, decided to make a dash going right across the that open ground, making a push for that side of the table over there. And then in the building down here, we had Samson run up, try to get as far away from who's this guy's name now? Mr. Bigglesworth. From it, and he did he has like a psychic ability for concussive blast, and kind of just gives you a concussion. So I ended up failing his will test, and then Mako ended up passing his, so that no damage was done there. And then Mr. Bigglesworth moved up and he fired a shot at Mako, but Mako ended up making the armor save, I believe. So things are looking pretty good for the Justice Department right now. We'll see what happens here. Judge Mako, I think he's gonna cause some issues in that room right there. So we'll be back in a flash, see how things go. So we are back here for the end of turn 2, and I don't know what the hell's going on right now. So up here, Vin was able to use Judge Vinchenzo. He fired 2 shots through, and he ended up putting an armor-piercing round right through Tootsie Poop, so he ended up dropping. Up over here, you had Judge Abbott fire down some gas rounds into Rabbit, who was standing back here. He missed the first shot. The second shot, the gas went through. I needed a 10 to save it, and I rolled a 10, which was awesome. So Rabbit survived, and then he kind of ran up, and he's making his way in between those 2 buildings. In this house down here, this is when stuff got a little bit crazy. So Mako ended up firing a shot into Mr. Bigglesworth. I couldn't dodge it, but I ended up making an armor save with what was it, like 2 armor saves, right? 2
armor saves with a 9 up.
Yeah, 2 armor saves with a 9 up, so he survived. And then Mr. Bigglesworth ran into close combat, and he got he just got knocked out 1 punch. So that was the end of Bigglesworth. And then in this combat, we had 2 rounds of combat. Mako doing 1 attack, and then I had Samson doing another one, and we ended up drawing on one of the combats, and the other one I think I made 2 saves, didn't I?
Yeah.
Another 2 saves. I think my armor saves I made like a bunch of 9s and 10s this turn, so I kept some of the guys alive. But the Street Gang is getting pummeled pretty bad right now. We're just literally just trying to get Rabbit off the table so we can go keep making our super crack and not have to deal with the police knocking on our door. So we'll be back in a second for turn 3 and see how things go. Back here for the end of turn 4, and the judges, man, I don't know what to do against these guys. So as you can see, Judge Mako, he just cleaned house. The first round of combat for his first action, he ended up doing 1 wound, but I ended up sticking around because I made a save. And then in the second round of combat, it was just lights out. I think 2 punches went through, and that was enough to put Samson on his back. Up over here, Judge Abbott was out of range, can't really do anything from that window, so she's just kind of hanging out for most likely the rest of the game. And then the Chens ended up moving up 1 move, got within range to fire some gas canisters down at our buddy Rabbit, and I saved it again. So run, Rabbit, run. Yeah, he's doing he's amazing. So for my turn, literally all I had left on the table was Rabbit, and I just moved him 10 inches. We're not doing will checks because, this is kind of a themed game right now. He has to get off the table edge, so it's not really about will. It's about just survival for him at this point. So we'll be back in a second for the end of turn 5, and it's really going to come down to Judge Mako walking out that door and just seeing if he can lay the hurt down on Rabbit so they can get that interrogation off. So we'll be back in a second and see how things go. So we are back for the end of turn 5, and man, Judge Mako is just a beast. So in this turn, Vin just moved up Judge Vinchenzo to kind of get around that building and maybe try to cut Rabbit off, but it wasn't even needed. Uh, Mako just ran out that door and then charged into a combat. He was able to get he went for his stun attack. So what that does is it takes away one of your actions on the next turn, and it makes it harder for you to do agility tests and fight in close combat. So I ended up taking one stun, and then since we were base to base, I decided just to try to see if I can knock Mako out or do something to get him off me. So maybe I can get off the table next turn. But Mako just whooped my ass that second round of close combat and knocked me out. So they were able to apprehend Rabbit. The interrogation is going to end up going well, and that's going to mean bad news for the old street rats. So we're going to be coming back for episode 4, and it's probably going to be the grand finale. It's going to be a big drug raid on the old drug house of the street rats. So come back next week and see how this thing ends. Thanks for watching. So we're back for the end of the game, experience points and all that kind of nonsense. I almost forgot to do it. So this is what we're looking at here. I had some pretty decent rolls on this one. So for Mongo and Mr. Bigglesworth, they were able to crawl out that back door when Mako went out into the alleyway to beat up Rabbit, and they were able to kind of scurry off and survive the fight. Tootsie Poop, he didn't have that kind of luck. His guts are sprayed all over Smug Clint's bar stools. He wasn't able to get back up and continue the fight. Rabbit, after his interrogation, he had a pretty long rap sheet as far as charges went against him from previous crimes. So he's going to be going away to the isopods for a long time. So that's the end of Rabbit, which is it's kind of sad because I was having some fun playing with Rabbit. But we're not going to cry about it because he's a piece of street trash. And then back over here, our boy Samson, even though he got his ass kicked, on the injury table, it just came up as a scratch, so he was able to walk away from the wound. And then when they threw him in the back of the paddy wagon for the heroes, you get to roll on a table to see what happens with him. And he was able to escape from the holding cell at county jail. And was able to break out and make his way back to the gang. So Samson is still in the campaign, surprisingly. So this is what we're looking at going into the last game. We got a couple of the gangbangers who are able to survive the fight and probably help their team out at the finale. And then for Vin, I think Vin, you were able to get level up with Vinchenzo, so Vin will end up adding some stats to him. So Chen's went up, and then Mako, I think he had like 7 experience points this game, so he's going to go up a level too. This guy's just an absolute beast. So like I said, thanks for watching. This is the official end of the game, and then we'll be back next week to do the old grand finale. So thanks for watching.